Hey guys, it's RocketMax32, and today we are going to be diving into my list for the top 10 most overpriced LEGO Star Wars sets of all time. Now this is my personal list and you may disagree, and that's totally cool. I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments down below. But without wasting time with any more intro, let's dive right into it. First up in 10th place, we have the Death Star Final Duel, set number 75291. This was a $100 set that came out a few years ago, and it had 775 pieces. Now it looks like a decent place set, a little bit too expensive for 775 pieces though. Similar sets have been cheaper in the past, and it's not something that I see as being very fun for a $100 set. This set is just simply lacking in a lot of areas, and it's just overpriced. But next up into the 9th place spot, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader, set number 75334, a $49.99 set, and this set came out recently, and for many people who watch my channel, you know it as the boring gray base plate set. And that's basically all it is. 4 minifigures, $50, and a big piece of gray slab. It felt like a $30 set at absolute most. And that's what has landed it as an overpriced set. Now, going into the 8th place spot, we have General Grievous's Starfighter, specifically set number 75286. This $80 LEGO set at only 487 pieces had a terrible price per piece ratio, and the minifigs just did not justify the cost. We got Obi-Wan, a 212th Airborne Trooper, and a General Grievous we had gotten before. This set just did not justify it at all. The build was not top quality. The Airborne Trooper now goes for a decent price, but that's because he was the only exclusive part of this set, and there was no way to know it back then. That's why I've put this set in my 8th place spot, but it's not as bad as my 7th place spot, the First Order ATST, set number 75201, a $40 unfinished ATST. This set was literally an unfinished walker with no top section. It felt like half a build for full price. LEGO literally took one screenshot from the movie and said, hey, we can build that and make a lot of money off of it. And what did they actually do? Piss off fans with an overpriced set that was missing half of the build. Now, while that set's annoying, it's not nearly as bad as this next set, which literally nobody wanted, which is Boba Fett's Throne Room, set number 75326, a $100 price tag for a simple build. This is just a simplistic build. Trying to justify a $100 price point, that's just unheard of. And compared to Jabba's Palace, or set number 9516, this was a clear downgrade with worse minifigures and honestly a worse build. Now we're entering top 5, and we're entering it with a banger back from 2001. This is the Darth Maul bust, set number 10018, a $150 set. While impressive for its time, because the piece count was literally 1,800 pieces, it just did not justify the price. No minifigures and a very blocky, weird build of Darth Maul. It was not really asked for. It's technically a UCS set, but it doesn't fit any of the rest of the UCS line. They did this one and done with a bust and never did anybody else. It's very weird. It's overpriced. But coming in at the number 4 spot, I actually have a weird one. This is probably one that people are going to give me a little bit of fire for, but I'll defend it. We have the UCS Imperial Star Destroyer, set number 75252. A $700 UCS set. Despite it being a UCS set, it had no interior, 2 minifigures, which I understand you'll say, hey, the Venator was the exact same way. Yes, but this Imperial Star Destroyer is fragile on top of all of that. If you don't include an interior, I would expect that you have a very, very strong exterior, but that's just simply not the case with this set. With this set, you have a set that constantly wants to rip itself apart, and once you've built it, it's almost impossible to transport it. The Venator, you get a very solid core build. This, not so much. At $700, I would have just expected a little bit more rigidity, a little bit better structure, and maybe even a couple more minifigs. But the trend does seem to be less minifigs in our big UCS sets, so I guess that's up to debate. But coming in at my number 3 spot, I have put the Resistance Troop Transporter, set number 75140. This $70 set was a ship that was barely seen in The Force Awakens, with a dull build, a high price tag, a ship that nobody cares about. It was barely seen Like, there was no desire for this build, much less this build for $70. It's ugly. Nobody wants this, and nobody wanted it back then. And coming into our number 2 spot, another interesting one. I personally like this set, okay? But this is overpriced Lego set. So in our number 2 spot, we have the Rebel Blockade Runner set number 10019, a $200 set back in 2001. Let's do the inflation calculation on that real fast. Adjusted for inflation, that is $358 today. This was one of the first UCS sets, but it had an outdated design and no minifigures. For a $200 price, no minifigures. I mean, a second ago I was complaining about getting 2 minifigures in a UCS set. Imagine getting 0 minifigures in a UCS set. This build looks cool, but it was 100% overpriced. It was an odd build, it was an expensive build, and it's so expensive. And finally, my pick for the most overpriced Lego Star Wars set of all time. I've hated on this set a lot in the past. If you've watched a lot of my videos, this is probably no surprise to you. Coming in at number 1, UCS Assault on Hoth. Set number 75098, a $250 set at the time. This UCS set does not feel like a UCS set at all. It is not Ultimate in the Ultimate Collector series. It's a bunch of disconnected builds with no cohesion. Like I've said before, this set is a bunch of battle packs and other play sets. It's like a giant combo pack of play sets trying to be sold as a UCS set. At a $250 price, you'd be better off going and collecting other playset Hoth sets, and you would get a cooler build than this weird meshed together overpriced crap. In my opinion, this set is not deserving of the UCS name, much less the price tag associated with it. So that makes this my pick for the most overpriced Lego Star Wars set of all time. And with that, we've finished my top 10 picks for most overpriced Lego Star Wars sets. Did I miss any? If so, let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there, go ahead and hit subscribe. It's completely free and you can change your mind at any time, but it helps me out a ton. And if you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you didn't like this video, that's totally cool. You can just go ahead and hit the dislike button twice for me. But that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Peace!